Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon. It's Molly here. Thanks for checking into Fox 5 Live. We are here live midday here in the basement of our Washington, D.C. studio. You can see behind me in my little room here, ready to bring you some cool live breaking news today, whatever we got going on. I know it is St. Patrick's Day. Obviously, I'm wearing my green. We have Chancellor Angela Merkel coming to meet with President Trump today, and some other cool St. Patrick's Day festivities for you. We'll bring that to you live. For now, I'm going to bring you over to the White House where we are awaiting the arrival of Chancellor Angela Merkel. Let's see who is talking right now. Check it out.
We had an opportunity to listen to the president where he outlined, let us know that he was here for veterans and what he wanted to do for veterans, and we're happy to do that. We're happy to have Dr. Shulkin here and look forward to working with this administration and making sure that we have a veteran-centric program and that our VA stays intact and stays healthy for all veterans. Thank you.
Great. And we're going to have Sherman Gillens from the Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. On behalf of the veterans in this country who live with paralysis and their caregivers, many of them are the heroes who suffer in silence. They pay the accrued cost of war. We have to do a good job of taking care of them. We also have to ensure that as we take care of the 9 million veterans through the expansion of choice care, that we don't forget that there are veterans in this country who are missing limbs, who are paralyzed, who are blind, that require specialized services. And any expansion of care must include some sense of elevated standards for those people as well. And we're all invested in Dr. Shulkin's success. We look forward to working with him to make our Department of Veterans Affairs one where we can be proud. Thank you.
Well, good morning. I'm the Executive Director, Mark Lucas of Concerned Veterans for America. The President, the Vice President, Secretary Shulkin were highly engaged in this meeting this morning. There was a lot of back and forth conversation. The President is passionate about veterans issues. We're very pleased that the VA Accountability First Act successfully passed the House of Representatives last night. This bill is imperative to provide the President and the VA Secretary the opportunity to fire bad employees. It's also imperative that Dr. Shulkin have the opportunity to be able to claw back some of those performance bonuses that were given to VA employees who allowed veterans to die on secret wait lists. It also provides us the opportunity to protect whistleblowers so they can step up and do the right thing by veterans. I'm very excited about what VA Secretary Shulkin is about to do for the Department of VA. Extremely excited about President Trump. He is upholding his promise that he unveiled on the campaign trail, a 10-point plan to reform the VA, which closely corresponds with Concerned Veterans for America's plan, and we look forward to working with him on the grassroots efforts to ensure that the United States Senate passes this bill and brings choice and accountability and transparency to the VA. Thank you.
And just coming in here, guys, just so you know, we are still awaiting the arrival of Chancellor Angela Merkel, who will be meeting with Trump for most of the day. So for now, you are listening to some words about the Department of Veterans Affairs outside the White House. This is live. Also concurrently going on right now is another event. I'm going to bring that to you in just a second. Speaker Paul Ryan is speaking. Let me get some more information on that for you. We'll bring it to you.
Time at Department of Veterans Affairs to make significant changes that our veterans, that our members of the VFW and our veterans have called for. So we're looking forward to continuing this discussion and pushing on initiatives like revamping community care programs, like claims and appeals reform, and all the other objectives that my colleagues have spoken to today. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ron. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
as though it's a compromise.
All right, guys, now bringing you over to the National Review Ideas Summit. This is the 2017 summit, and Speaker Paul Ryan is making a few remarks here at this institute. Take a listen.
It takes 60 votes to even consider the bill. So Mitch McConnell couldn't even bring the bill up. So if we send a bill from the House that doesn't conform to reconciliation, the Byrd rule, the Senate can't even consider the bill. They can filibuster even going on the bill. So that's why we have to write this in such a way that Chuck Schumer can't block it from coming to the floor with the filibuster, so that Mitch McConnell can make sure that they can vote on the bill and then get that bill passed. Remember, this is a three-part plan here, and all simultaneous parts. First is a bill that we can use reconciliation for that they cannot filibuster. That is where you can repeal the individual and business mandate. That's where you can repeal the spending and the taxes. That's where you can put in the Republican healthcare tax policy, high-risk pools, health savings accounts, tax credits that equalize the tax treatment of healthcare. The fiscal moving parts we can do in reconciliation. Part two, and Tom Price just came to our conference 2 hours ago and walked a lot of our members through the enormous regulatory flexibility that he has. When they wrote Obamacare, they wrote this thing in Harry Reid's office in Christmas Eve in 2009. They were going on the fly, and they basically said, boy, there's a lot of stuff we can't figure out. Let's just have the secretary figure it out. So they put 1,442 provisions in Obamacare in the 2,700-page bill. There are 1,442 sections that say the secretary may or the secretary shall. That just gives tons of discretion to the secretary of HHS to figure it all out. Well, they didn't think that Donald Trump was going to be president and Tom Price was going to be Secretary of Health and Human Services after Obama. And so what Tom Price walked us through this morning was, these are all the things we can do using that flexibility in reverse to basically open up the marketplace. I see Leah Vukmir sitting right over here, one of the brilliant state senators we have in Wisconsin, who's a nurse and a healthcare specialist, the champion of HSAs in Wisconsin. Wisconsin now, because of Tom Price's regulatory authority, Seema Verma, this brilliant woman over at CMS, they can basically say to Wisconsin, you guys go set up your own healthcare marketplace. You set up your own healthcare regulatory structure so that Wisconsin can have whatever kinds of plans Wisconsin wants to have. And then the Republican tax credits, the HSAs and the risk pools, you can use that for those. So part two is deregulate and have a patient-centered states' rights run system. Part three are the other bills we would like to pass that we know we can't through reconciliation, that we think make the situation even better, but aren't necessary to fix this problem, make it even better. That's what interstate shopping, association health plans, medical liability reform are all about. And what the president is really eager to do is to crisscross this country, making the case for those policies. And I think it might be interesting to note that he'll crisscross in those 10 states that he carried widely, where there is a Democrat up for re-election in 2018.
So in a nutshell, if I just repeat it back for the sake of my own understanding. So what you're saying is, because of Senate rules, we cannot fully deregulate Obamacare in this legislation, but Tom Price's administrative actions will be a big step towards deregulating.
And there are some we can, because they're tied there's fiscal moves. If it's fiscal policy, you can do it. If it's not, if it's regulatory policy, you can't. That's the easiest way to describe how this rule works. So we're putting as much replace policy as we can that conform to the Senate rules, so that they can't block the bill from even being considered, past that. And then the administration in part two, which they're working on right now simultaneously, can do that kind of deregulation, that kind of let the states go back and set up their own marketplaces. That's part two. Part three, pass these other bills. We're bringing them to the floor next week. Pass these other bills that we believe in.
All right, guys, what's up? So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to pull you out of that. My name is Molly Nevola. I'm here with you in our studio. There I am. Here's my name. What's up? So follow us along. You can always find us on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram at Fox5DC. Use the hashtag Fox5Live to tweet at us or get some information to us. We want to see what you're listening to, what you're thinking about today. I got to show you this really cool video right now this was taken earlier this morning. The green fountain water at the White House. Check it out. Outside of the White House, they dyed it green. So we're no Chicago, I guess, necessarily, with the river being dyed, but that's pretty cool. So I thought that was neat little footage. It is St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to try to hear from some of the people in our newsroom on their own St. Patrick's Day traditions. I want people to just kind of pop in and tell me what they like to do, what they've always done. And I know we have some true Irish blood here in the newsroom, in the studios, and others who just like to celebrate for the fun of it. But that's, you know, some of those holidays are like that, so that's just how it is. But isn't that pretty? There's the green fountain. I bet you they put a lot of work into that. I thought that was very festive. So we are still awaiting Chancellor Angela Merkel's arrival outside the White House. So this is, let's see, yeah, here we go. This is our live footage of waiting on her arrival. So we'll bring that to you if we can, if we have it live. And for now, I'm going to bring you back to that National Review Summit where Speaker Paul Ryan is giving a few words.
It's also why we have state-based high-risk pools. I'm looking at Lee again. We had a pretty good risk pool in Wisconsin. It worked pretty darn well, and there wasn't even a federal funding component with it. So the federal government will help kickstart state-based risk or reinsurance pools. So that what that means is, in the state, in the individual market, you have extra coverage for a person with a catastrophic illness. So you get cancer, your costs go up, the risk pool kicks in and helps you get affordable coverage so that you don't go broke if you get sick, but it also caps the exposure for insurance for everybody else. And that dramatically lowers the price of insurance for everybody else in the individual market. Just to give you an illustration of this idea, 1% of the people in this individual market drive 23% of the cost of insurance. So if you have risk pools, which Obamacare abolished, we used to have them, a lot of states had them, that covers that. You age adjust the tax credit, you deregulate the marketplace, and you have health savings accounts underneath to bring the consumer back into the game, to have people with skin in the game, price pressure, a marketplace for competition on choice, on quality, on price. That is how you restart a viable, individual, free market in healthcare. And it's not just a theory. Wherever these ideas have been tried, they've worked. And what all the insurers are telling us is if you guys do all of that, we'll come back into the marketplace. We'll be bringing prices down. Even the CBO is telling us in their score, when these reforms kick in, premiums start going down.
So are these things insurers are telling you privately that they're not comfortable saying
yes,
publicly?
an insurance company can't make a projection because they're publicly traded. They can't go out and say these things specifically, but they show us their actuarial runs. They inform us with these things. CMS, now run by us, the Republicans, show us these things.
So guys, here we are awaiting the arrival of Chancellor Angela Merkel at the White House. Apparently this was supposed to happen on Tuesday. I think it got pushed back because of the snow. That's what I'm reading. But it is the Chancellor's first trip to the United States in more than 2 years. And this will be the two leaders, President Trump and her first face-to-face press conference together. So this is kind of exciting. You can see that entourage there outside the White House. Looks like something is starting. So let's give that a listen. So once again, guys, we are awaiting the arrival of Chancellor Angela Merkel to the White House. This will be a group of roundtable discussions with President Trump, a lunch, and a joint press conference as well later in the afternoon. So for now, we're going to see this arrival.
Thank you. You've done this before, come back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're like, what's this? Oh, just another cry. Good. Oh, yeah.
All right. guy in the green jacket. That's perfect. Thank you.
Guys, we're still waiting on the arrival of the Chancellor from Germany. Here we go, actually. There's some action there. Check it out.
Sorry. So here's the card.
And there it is, guys. That was the little photo op, which is a quick thing. You saw President Trump come out of the front and a little meeting, and now the photographers all dispersed, and that's that. But speaking of President Trump, he had some interesting words yesterday at a St. Patrick's Day reception with the Prime Minister of Ireland. We brought that to you live here on Fox 5 Live here. And so I'm going to bring you that video right now. Take a listen to what he had to say yesterday.
St. Patrick's Day has become a truly important occasion in the United States, one embraced by Americans of all faiths and of all backgrounds. I've been to many of them, and we love it. The Shamrock Ceremony is a tradition that symbolizes the bond between our two countries. It dates back to 1952, when the Irish ambassador to the United States, John Joseph Hearn, sent a box of shamrocks to a president who did a very good job, Harry S. Truman. Our strong ties go back throughout American history. Irish Americans played a vital role in preserving our union during its hour of greatest need. So true. They played a very, very big role. Many distinguished themselves in the American Civil War with their grit and their bravery and their courage, earning the nickname the Fighting Irish. We must have the hope to believe in a better future, the confidence to pursue it, and the imagination to figure out how to get there. A new optimism is sweeping across our nation. You see that when you look at the numbers. The optimism is at the highest level in many, many years. And as America gains renewed strength, Ireland will find us to be an ever-faithful partner and an always loyal friend. We will be there for you, and we will be there for you.
Kind of cool little footage there from yesterday with the Prime Minister of Ireland. Now, let me quickly bring you to this shot of the White House. You can see sort of the ceremony moving there across the front. You kind of never see this aerial view. So that's kind of a neat shot.
Very very diligently, not for months, not just for a few days or a few weeks, is the block grant options that returns power to the state to be able to make the best decision for the sick, for the indigent, and that is something that has pumped us up today to be here. That's why.
Of the whip's leadership and Chairman Waldo's leadership, as we have worked to bring the best ideas that are helpful in this process, as we repeal Obamacare and open up the health insurance marketplace. Block grants states into place. We're also pleased with the pro-life provisions that are in this legislation. And one of the leaders on getting those pro-life provisions in place is Mia Love of Utah.
As you all know, and community care is incredibly important for all of us. I want you to know that every single person here was really concerned about the most vulnerable among us. Block grants to our states is incredibly important, and be able to care for those who really want health care insurance, who and provide that to them at the lowest price possible.
All right, guys, taking you out of that, and we are here joined by Justin in planning. He's getting his mic ready.
Look. See,
you ready?
You know I work in TV because I know how to do this.
I know, the lavalier.
Probably looks like crap.
He knows it. No, it's good. And he's wearing orange today. But I wanted to bring some people into the newsroom to talk about their St. Patrick's Day traditions and just stuff that they to do year to year. I mean, you talk to us. You love this type of holiday stuff. It's fanfare.
I love holidays, and the reason I'm wearing orange is because I actually forgot it was St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, funny.
I woke up this morning in my own little mind, and I got here, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's green. Sorry, I'm wearing orange, the opposite color. But St. Patrick's Day is kind of fun to me.
Yeah.
I love green beer.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
Green beer.
They do that.
Yeah, so last year I actually went on a hunt for green beer, and I went to a Irish bar, a really authentic Irish bar, and I made the mistake of asking the bartender for green beer, and he looked at me and said, "We don't sell that crap here," and I was like, "What? Oh no, I'm sorry, didn't mean to offend."
Yeah.
But yeah, I love going and seeing the dancing all in action, and especially at bars around the DC area. I'm sure all throughout the world that they have live dancers, Irish dancers coming in to dance, and that's what I experienced last year.
Right, and speaking of that, we had an amazing group of Irish dancers on the show this morning. Justin's in planning, so he does all that stuff. He promotes it, produces it for the show, puts it on, and they were great.
They were great, and I even learned how to do a move, and I know that they take it. They take this is serious.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So I had to do it slow, and I couldn't just, I couldn't be funny.
Yeah.
He was like, no, this is serious. You have to learn. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
So he showed me a step, and I had to jump back. And
it's like different moves with different feet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Something like
that.
I
love that. You can hear the beat.
Oh my Something like that. But yeah, so I love dressing up for holidays and having fun, except for like today.
Yeah.
But, green beer is my favorite.
That's great.
And we had some traditional food at the bar last year, and there was even like an Irish band that was doing covers of top 40 songs, and it was amazing.
In their Irish instruments.
And it was real cute. It was really good. So this year I'm not gonna do too much. I'm going home and take a nap. I'm
Isn't
tired.
it funny because it happens to be on a Friday?
Yes, which is the greatest day because you can get off of work and go out and celebrate.
You can eat and drink, but I feel you. Fridays are kind of like a cool
I'm gonna go
detox
home,
night.
drop the car off, and then if I go out, I'm gonna Uber and make sure if you're going out to drink, you eat on a full, have a full stomach. And then you drink, but don't drive.
Right. That's definitely a huge, important word today. And you can see Justin on every morning. He does a little Snapchat promo.
Oh, yeah.
He's usually on our Instagram story, on our Snapchat promo.
Yeah, Risa does a great job with that. And you all can check me out on Twitter. It's producer Stewart, S-T-E-W-A-R-T. And then my Instagram is producer_Stewart, S-T-E-W-A-R-T.
Awesome, Justin. We'll have to have him in again just to chat random things. I mean, we always want to have people in our newsroom just kind of like talking about stuff. It's like, so you can kind of see the display there. The viewers don't really see it, but we have a lot of control in this room of like everything. It's volume, it's graphics, it's everything. So
I enjoyed it.
Different cameras.
Yay.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll send someone else in soon. Hopefully we'll hear from another person
producer or somebody who works here. Somebody. We all have personalities.
Yes, they definitely do. Yep, you got it. Thanks, Justin. Have a good one.
You. That was amazing.
Bye. All right, guys, we're going to bring you back to that footage of President Trump there with Chancellor. There's their close-up of them meeting. Take a look. guess that's all we have of that. But thanks so much for joining me again. You guys are watching Fox 5 Live. Use that hashtag Fox 5 Live to tweet at us and say what you want to say. We want to hear from you. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's a Friday, like Justin was mentioning. And yeah, what do you guys have going on for St. Patrick's Day? What are your traditions? What are you thinking about doing tonight? It's kind of crazy that it is on a Friday. I never really think about that. I always experience it on midweek, and I'm like, coming from an Italian family, we used to celebrate St. Joseph's Day a little bit more, and which is in 2 days. And you know, I grew up with a lot of Irish friends and Irish Catholic friends in New England. So I knew sort of what it meant to them and how important it was to my friends who had full-blooded Irish parents, even in college. So definitely a big day for a lot of people, Irish Americans, the Irish, of course, and non-Irish Americans as well. All right, guys, I am Molly Nevola. Thanks for joining me. We're going to bring you back to live. This is pictures of the White House. And I want to bring you something also very special. This morning, this was really exciting. Our movie guy, entertainment guy, Kevin McCarthy, had director Danny Boyle in-house. And this is super exciting for all, he was able to geek out with the director. And this is so exciting for any movie lovers. And of course, Danny Boyle lovers, Trainspotting 2, which is coming out. That's what he's here to promo, as well as some of his older films like The Beach. Some of you remember that, I do. And I got to meet him briefly, which was really fun. But let me bring you to this cool, exclusive, behind the scenes, right before his interview, video of Kevin interviewing Danny Boyle.
All right, are we live, Aaron?
Yes, you're live and good to go.
All right, I am here with the legendary Danny Boyle. We are live on camera. We're using Aaron's little traffic studio because there's a lot of Irish dancers here today. So, Mr. Boyle, how are you?
Hi, Kevin. All right.
All right, so I want to use this interview as like a nerdy thing because I have so many questions I want to ask you about filmmaking. And first of all, this is something I've always wanted to know, and I'm sure you've answered this question a million times. Why? I know it's based on a book, but why was it called Trainspotting? Because last night when I was watching the sequel, Begbie's father in the flashback says the word Trainspotting.
Yes.
Can you talk about how that came about?
So that's in the original novel, and we didn't include it in the original film. And so everybody, especially when we were in America, said, why is it called, what does Trainspotting mean? And I used to have to explain it all the time. But actually, of course, since then, because the film became quite well known, and also because geeking, kind of internet nerds, that kind of thing became much more commonplace, because that's basically what Trainspotting means. It's obsessive behaviour by men writing things down. You know, it's a kind of very particular cultural habit in Britain, and it was writing down the names of trains as they passed through stations.
Interesting.
And these men would gather in anoraks, kind of like geeky at the end of railway stations, and as the trains come through, they'd write the names down, and then they'd send in the post letters to each other saying, I saw this train here in Crewe or Manchester or Liverpool.
Wow.
And then they would go around like that, so that's where it comes from.
I had absolutely no idea. Now, filmmaking-wise, this cinematography in this movie is absolutely brilliant. I think the way you use your camera as a leading character, which I absolutely love. And I'm wondering how you come up with what shots you're going to do. For example, there's an amazing camera that Ewan McGregor is using when he's singing that song.
Oh, you spotted it. Yeah,
yeah.
good.
So how, when you're directing that scene, what do you want to convey with that shot? Because I feel like the camera's almost like a fifth character.
Well, it's such an extraordinary scene of him singing this song.
Right.
And his performance, it's all about the performance really. You want to get closer to it and kind of immerse the audience in it as much as possible. And you knew, as the tempo of the scene built, you knew it was going to be frenetically cut together like that as this crescendo builds.
Right.
So you thought, how can we get in on Renton like that? And of course, putting a small camera on it, it's a bit like you can let the actor take over.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like taking over this camera. You just take it over like that, and it's
awesome.
Yours before you hand it back to the operator.
Danny Boyle just held my phone, by the way. I just want to let you guys know that.
So that's basically you just give the actor, it empowers the actor, and that connection between the actor and the audience is increased. You know, if you use it well.
There's an amazing shot in the film, and I remember looking over at my friend and going, how the heck did he do that? It was a moment where Begbie and his son are robbing this house, and you have this camera that's like in the corner, and the house looks like it's like 30 million feet tall. Is that like a wide lens? How did you get that look?
Yeah, I mean, one of the wonderful things, it's one of the dangers of films being reduced to smaller screens now, is that directors will lose the habit of, when you have that big screen, like Tarantino does this brilliantly, is that he'll let you see the whole scene on a wide shot.
Like Hateful Eight with the 70mm.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
and he'll let you be the editor. You select where you want to look as his dialogue pings around. And that's an amazing thing he does, and nobody gives him credit for that, I think. As a director, he lets you be the editor. Right. You select where you want to see on a wide screen. And that's the danger with the smaller cameras and the smaller screens that we're moving towards, is that we might lose that. You need a great deal of patience and confidence to let people do that. So you want to see a wide, you want to see the whole environment and see your characters within that.
And one thing I love about you is that you've been shooting on film for so long. I mean, Steve Jobs to me was brilliant because you did 16, 35 and digital.
Yeah, we did.
Trainspotting originally was shot on film.
Yes.
This is shot digital.
Yes, it is.
Can you talk about like how that difference was for you, and what do you think digital gave you that film didn't give you back in '96?
The big thing it does do, and this is the really good thing about it, is that it can let you go wild with the actors, because you don't have, film is quite precious in terms of you can only run it for 10 minutes at maximum, sometimes only 4 minutes on some cameras, and so you have to limit the amount of kind of freestyle that you're doing, whereas a digital will run for an hour. A digital camera will run for an hour. I mean, you don't often run it for an hour, obviously, because it gets ridiculous. But on certain scenes, it allows you to go freestyle and let the actors get on with it. And it means that you can put cameras somewhere unoccupied. So you can leave a camera somewhere and just let it work in the scene. And you can run it so that it just captures the actor at a certain moment, where they arrive at a certain moment in the scene. And you grab that moment without having to set it up specially. It's just a moment you capture during the main shoot, which might be over here. So they're wonderful opportunities for that.
So cool. We're gonna have Danny Boyle live on our show at 9:40. I'm just trying to pick apart some of the nerdy stuff that I usually can't ask on the air. Obviously, one of the most brilliant shots from the original film and now in this movie is your pull away from Ewan's room. And how do you make it look like you're going longer than the room exists? Like, because obviously you did it in '96 a little shorter, but in the new one, it's like you go like way.
So it eventually becomes CG.
Okay.
Replication.
Is it a dolly zoom?
No. To begin with, it's a dolly and a very, very wide lens, which makes a small room, a small bedroom, appear to be much, much longer as you go away from it like that, which we did do in the first film, realistically, when we were travelling on the bed.
And that was real, there was no CG.
There was no CG.
Yeah.
No, because there was no internet then, there was nothing then. But now you kind of start that in the same fashion, with the same idea, and then CG takes over and you get this image of him dancing in his childhood bedroom, which is so cool. Yeah, and everybody's childhood bedroom, we've all had that experience when you go home, and you're kind of, I used to go home, I was in my 50s and I was still sleeping in the same bedroom with Led Zeppelin posters on the wall, and and it was kind of like, because your parents don't change your room because they love you coming home and it being the same. So it's an image that tries to capture that. Yeah.
This movie works so well, but on its own, because you do so many flashbacks and things to the first film to give, like you have the baby moment, you have things in there that people remember, but if you haven't seen the first one, you can still appreciate number two. Since that was done through Miramax, and this is done through Sony, TriStar, did you have issues getting rights to that, or do you own that movie? How does that work?
No, we were good. The ownership of the movie wasn't a problem. We were able to. So you're able to use very occasionally little snippets of the original film, which is very cruel on the actors, because obviously you see them as they were then, 23 years old, and you see them as they are now, 46.
Ewan's aged really well, by the way.
He's aged really well, but and that's in the script, everybody says, "You're looking well, Mark." Mark Benson. And he says, "Yeah, everybody says that." His problem is he's what he looks like inside is his problem. Whereas for some of the others, it's what they look like outside as well.
Right. One thing I love about the film, you have these amazing moments during these fight scenes where you'll freeze the frame for a second, like very quick. And I'm like, as a director's choice, it's so brilliant. What are you trying to get across to the audience with that freeze frame?
The obsession with time, because the movie's about time. 20 years has passed. Movies are about time. Editing, filming, you are compressing time or extending it, slowing it down, speeding it up, and you can do this amazing thing. And it is like playing God. You can stop time. Because if you're loving the movie, you just stop time. We can't do that. But that's part of our sentence in life, is you can't stop time. We'd like to sometimes.
Yeah.
We'd all love to, especially when you're in your mid-20s. But you can't. But movies can, for a little moment, boom, so it was almost like and obviously it's to try and invoke a kind of the idea of, photographs stop time as well, don't they? Your photo moments. And we've sort of lost that. We take so many photos now with our cameras. We've sort of lost how precious. You remember how photographs used to be when you had a hard copy of the photograph and it just stops time for a moment. So it's just trying to involve that.
Now Aaron's holding the camera. Do we have a couple more minutes? Are you
Yeah, you have a few more
All
minutes.
Right, before we let you go, he's like, stop asking all these nerdy questions. No, but I do. One thing I love about, I remember I interviewed you for Slumdog Millionaire. You mentioned the photographs, and there were parts of India you couldn't shoot rolling film in, and so you took like these still frames and put them together to make the motion.
That's right.
And I thought that was really cool because it just reminded me of that still frame effect. Now, the cool thing about this movie is you do have references. The toilet scene from the original is one of the greatest scenes ever. It still looks really cool. I rewatched it the other day, and I remember I spoke to you at Steve Jobs. You told me how they did that, but what was the balance of bringing stuff back but also creating something new? So, for example, you do have Ewan's famous laugh when he lands on the car, and he does like his famous laugh like he does in the original film. So, what's the balance of calling stuff back but not too much?
It was a lot of it was based on the actors. So we do the scenes, and they'd say, "Shall I have a muscle memory of this moment?" It's literally like a physical memory of it. Like you recall something. It's like deja vu. In our own lives when you get that moment of thinking, "I've been here before." And so they would illustrate that like that. And then sometimes you make the decision in editing to cut back to something from the original film, or to cut a scene in a particular way, or to use a piece of music that reminded you of the first film. There's everybody loved the music from the first film, so we'd use odd bits of it that actually are the same chords, but the whole track's been remixed, so it's not like a repeat, but there's a similarity. So the muscle memory thing was again in you. It triggers things you can't control. Music is like that. It sets off emotions in you that you can't fully talk about, but you understand when you feel them,
Totally, I agree. And Trainspotting 2, by the way, if you live in New York and LA, I believe it's out today.
It is.
And then DC, it'll be the 24th, and I believe it'll keep expanding. It's really, really well done. I loved it as a fan of the first one. It was a total, it made me feel happy. I like spending time with these guys, even though some of them are really bad. I don't know why that is, but I enjoy spending time with Begbie and with these emotional moments. Why do we like to watch these guys, even though everyone's flawed in life, everyone is, but Begbie's a pretty bad guy at times.
Yeah.
But why do we like spending time with him?
I think they don't apologise for what they are, and I love that. I think they just on PC, and they kind of they also have a sense of humour, which gets to forgive almost anything.
And a rawness to them.
Yeah,
and a rawness, absolutely.
Last question, because I definitely can't ask this one on the air. I'm curious in this 90s what you used for the heroin in the film, and then in this movie, what do you use for cocaine when an actor has to put it up his nose? How do they do that?
Kevin.
Is it like crushed up like?
It's like
powder.
It's baking soda.
But is it really going up his nose?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and his head is full of it. He feels it in his head for like days afterwards. Not in the way, obviously, of cocaine, but it's still, and it affects his voice. You can hear his voice change when he does it. Yeah, they use baking soda.
Al Pacino told me when he did Scarface that he actually has problems breathing out of his nose now because
he took so
much of the fake cocaine in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, the movie's out. If you live in New York and LA, go see it. This guy's a genius. I love his work. If you haven't seen 127 Hours, everything, go see it. Trainspotting's phenomenal. Brilliant work. So
Thanks, Kevin.
always good to see you, by the way. And watch Steve Jobs. He goes 16:35 digital, and even the composer recorded in different tracks,
yes,
right?
That's right, in analog and then eventually digital, yeah.
Yeah, and your movies have such a great feel of music and techno, and it's amazing. All right, we're going to let this guy go. We're going to be on the air shortly, 9:40 a.m., Fox 5, so stay tuned for that. This is Danny Boyle.
Thank you, sir, please.
All right, guys, so that was earlier, preceding Danny Boyle going on our show this morning with Kevin. I love it. Kevin is so dynamic. He's so good at his questions. He knows his stuff so well. That was a really fun behind-the-scenes interview of questions that he couldn't ask. And let me show you quickly, because I later ran up and I got to meet him. Here is my Instagram post. There it is. Me and Danny Boyle. It was really exciting. I really wanted to chat with him a little longer. I know my older sister's a big fan. She kind of got me into his type of movie and all that artistry and stuff. So she will be insanely jealous right now. But that's my picture of me with him. And then he jetted off with his entourage. But he's here to promote his movie, which, like Kevin was saying, comes out, I believe, in DC on the 24th. But it's LA and New York this weekend. So for now, we're going to bring you back. Here's a shot of the Capitol. You guys are watching Fox 5 Live. Thanks for joining us. Please do join us on all our social platforms, Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat and Insta. You can get at us, Fox5DC, and use that hashtag Fox5Live. We will be right back. All right, guys, so it is St. Patrick's Day. That's right, March 17th. Thanks for joining me. It's Friday, March 17th. We made a little video for our social platforms about how to spell St. Patty's Day. So everyone, that's the big confusion. People are Instagramming about it today. People are talking about it. What's the grammatical way and why? We made a video to help you figure that out. So check it out. This was made last night. Really informative. Listen. So cute. So there you guys go. A little information, really informative on shamrocks, on how to spell St. Patty's Day and why. There we go. That's awesome. So we made that video to inform people because people will be talking about it. Quickly over to the cherry blossoms. Okay, so this is still a thing that we need to talk about because the peak has been pushed out for a long time now, and it just keeps getting pushed out. But with the recent cold snap ending, the National Park Service did send out a release, and they talked about how they now have a better idea about the effect that they had on the blossoms. They're going to provide an update for the media about the condition of those blossoms this evening, or this afternoon rather. So it's at 2 p.m. today. I won't have it for you live on the show because we won't be here at 2 at least today. But that information will be coming out, so you can be sure that we will be posting some information on that. You'll find it on social about the peak bloom forecast, because I last I heard they'd push it out to the 19th or 20th. I don't know the official word on the street right now, but there will be an update because they were able to kind of look at the blossoms and evaluate where they were and what they looked like and how much damage was done. And that will take place today at the Jefferson Memorial itself. The superintendent from the National Mall and Memorial Parks will be there, as well as the chief of communications and the president of the National Cherry Blossom Festival. So kind of a dismal year, kind of a bummer that there is probably some sustained damage. It may not be as fruitful and full as previous years with the cherry blossoms, but you know, hopefully looking forward to still a gorgeous sometime bloom where we can run down there at sunrise, which I know we always like to do. It's sort of like a tradition for me to go on a run down to the tidal basin to check out the blossoms. You are watching Fox 5 Live here in Washington, D.C. I'm Molly Nevola. Hey, welcome. It is St. Patrick's Day Friday. We're live right here in the newsroom. Don't really see anybody around me. I'm trying to pull some people in to talk about their traditions for St. Patrick's Day or what they feel about the holiday, how they've celebrated it in the past. Maybe they come from a long, extended Irish family. I want to hear from some people, but it's looking kind of empty right now. But we're going to bring you live news across the nation, across D.C., whatever's happening, whatever we can find for you that's happening right now. For now, a live look at the Capitol Dome. There it is. Pretty blue skies today. Still pretty chilly. Sometimes we get a little visit from one of our weather guys, but I've not seen Tucker today. He had some earlier work to do, and he was on the show with the Irish dancers that we had on the show, so that was a fun little segment. But we'll see if we can get someone in there to talk that with you. Don't forget to tweet at us. Don't forget to hashtag us, Fox5 Live, and let us know what you're watching, what you're thinking about. In case you guys missed it earlier, these were President Trump's words at the St. Patrick's Day luncheon yesterday with the Prime Minister of Ireland.
St. Patrick's Day has become a truly important occasion in the United States, one embraced by Americans of all faiths and of all backgrounds. I've been to many of them, and we love it. The Shamrock Ceremony is a tradition that symbolizes the bond between our two countries. It dates back to 1952, when the Irish ambassador to the United States, John Joseph Hearn, sent a box of shamrocks to a president who did a very good job, Harry S. Truman. Our strong ties go back throughout American history. Irish Americans played a vital role in preserving our union during its hour of greatest need. So true. They played a very, very big role. Many distinguished themselves in the American Civil War with their grit and their bravery and their courage, earning the nickname the Fighting Irish. We must have the hope to believe in a better future, the confidence to pursue it, and the imagination to figure out how to get there. A new optimism is sweeping across our nation. You see that when you look at the numbers. The optimism is at the highest level in many, many years. And as America gains renewed strength, Ireland will find us to be an ever faithful partner and an always loyal friend. We will be there for you, and we will be there for you.
And that was that. President Trump yesterday, that was, I think, bits of his sort of sound bites bit into one. But did you guys also see, and I showed this earlier, today the White House, it's really cool. It is green fountain. There's a car going by. That's really neat. So they dyed it green just like Chicago's river to celebrate. I want to see if I can get out there live myself and check it out. We're hopefully having some more people drop by to talk about their own traditions, so stand by for that. And guys, earlier we have a few seconds here of President Trump's meeting with Chancellor Angela Merkel. Check it out. Just a little bit of a press avail here.
Thank you, fellas. Fellas over here. Thank you. Thank you.
Keep going, sir. Sir, moving.
No bumping into the doors. Did you say excuse? Did you say excuse? I'm in like the doorway.
sound it gets a little spotty here. This is just the press being ushered out of the room following their meeting. So this will probably just fade out into nothing. Yeah. And we're back to the green fountain at the White House. And just take a look. We're going to try to bring you some more live feeds of what's happening around the nation and around the Capitol. I have some other visitors hopefully coming to join me to talk about their own traditions on this day. Stand by. Hey guys, I don't know if you saw this too, but this was interesting. Yesterday, Mount Etna in Sicily, in Catania, Sicily, started smoking again and then did eventually erupt. We have some interesting video of that eruption. Apparently, there was an explosion. And it injured about 10 people. Sorry. And I'm going to show you this video. Check it out. There's no sound on it, but you can kind of just see this footage. And the explosion injured at least 10, is what our report said from Fox. The volcanic rocks and steam injured 10 people. That included tourists and scientists. It was an explosion. That's what they're calling it. Mount Etna explosion. And people suffered head injuries, burns, cuts, bruises. Though nothing was said to be that serious. 6 people were recovering in nearby hospitals. Tourists had only been drawn there because there was this spectacle of an active volcano erupting, but then they were caught by surprise when the hot magma hit the snow, causing an explosion. And so that's what happened. Apparently, there was a quote that said the material thrown into the air fell back down, striking the heads and bodies of people who were closest to it. Also, a BBC reporter, science reporter, was on the mountain and described it in tweets. So people were tweeting about it, running down the mountain, pelted by rocks, dodging burning boulders, and boiling steam. Not an experience I ever want to repeat, is what she wrote. So they obviously were very shaken, but people were physically okay. Very scary sounding. But yeah, this is the volcano. It's been active over the past 2 days, creating this type of visual spectacle for people to see as it spews out the lava and ash into the air. And that's that. So that is Mount Etna in Sicily. Just a little bit, a little picture of that so you can check it out. Back to the Capitol Dome. Here it is live in Washington, D.C. And guys, going now to a little bit more of a local story. I don't know if you caught this. We had this live, excuse me, live on our Facebook page as well. The explosion in Rockville, Maryland. Take a look at this. So we were streaming this live. It's a little shaky, but we were streaming it live on our Facebook. If you didn't catch it, a little more information here. An explosion destroyed a house in Rockville. Resident is unaccounted for. Early this morning, we had reports of this on our morning show, continuing in to the late morning, and then hopefully an update on more of it later in the day. But basically, a house was completely destroyed. After an overnight explosion there, you can kind of see these aerial footage in the daylight now of what is sort of the result of that. It was reported around 1 a.m. in this Randolph Hills neighborhood in Rockville. And neighbors told Fox 5 that the force of the explosion shook their homes, and many said their windows were even damaged from it. Fire officials said that the explosion could be felt over a mile away, and 911 calls were received from residents even 2 miles away. So there you have it. You can kind of see we had this chopper video over that damage. Pretty wild stuff. We had a lot of comments on that. So take a look for yourself at this, and we'll hopefully have an update for you as well later on tonight. You can see there, guys, lots of damage over a slightly snow-covered home there in Rockville. We had all our morning reporters on that, and then we posted this video. It was live chopper video on our Facebook. You can see also some what looks like service people, firemen and stuff, kind of aiding to the scene, and cars and whatnot around it. But apparently the resident of that home is unaccounted for. That's what I was reading. Again, more information to come from that whole incident in Rockville, Maryland. Some scary stuff there. Anyway, this is Molly Nevola. You're watching Fox 5 Live here, live in the DC studio. It's kind of empty over here. I'm kind of alone, hanging out just with my sparkling water, and on the St. Patrick's Day, waiting on one person to come in and talk about, hopefully, her St. Patrick's Day traditions. Yeah, we're just rounding out a nice little Friday afternoon here. Ice is hopefully we've been hearing, wanting to melt today, because we're going to see temperatures in like the 50s and whatnot for today. And yeah, that's all we got going on today. Not a ton of other stuff. Like we said, President Trump is meeting with Angela Merkel and doing a live press conference, or a joint press conference with her at around 1:20. I will be off the air at that point. But you'll be able to see some coverage of that. I'm sure later on we'll have a lot of stuff clipped together from that. And that's that. So for now, back to what the White House looks like currently. Right now, there it is. What we saw earlier when the Chancellor arrived was there at the White House. And they will be doing meetings, roundtables all day, and a luncheon. And then, like I said, that joint press conference in the afternoon hours. A quick picture now, guys, of a really cute live cam, and we're not going to leave it up too long, but I'm going to show you this, if I can get this working 1 second. All right, here we go, guys. So a little bit of technical difficulty in getting this one. But quickly, this is the live Eagle Cam 2017 Earth Conservation Corps' live eagles in D.C. Just a second ago, I saw the baby fluff ball, the little gray guy underneath, and they're still waiting on one more egg to hatch. So it's kind of an exciting thing. You guys can check that out on your own if you want online. We also made a little video of it on our social media. You can check out our Facebook page to learn more about that whole process and what they're waiting on, and that they did see an eagle hatch on the cam, which was super exciting. So there's the mom watching over her baby. Eagles are very fascinating to me, and sometimes you see them in and around DC. I've been told that they're kind of prevalent around the Potomac, so some of you might have even seen your own, like on bike rides or whatever, when you're over down by the water. They're more prevalent in this area than a lot of other areas. So kind of a cool little video to get to you guys. In case you guys missed it earlier, German Chancellor Angela Merkel did arrive at the White House, and they were staking that out for a little bit. We had a video of that I'll bring you here. A little bit of sound there. It took a little bit, but there was this whole procedure, ceremony. You can see there surrounding sort of that driveway where the car ends up coming in. So take a look at this footage. This was earlier this morning when she arrived. And now she'll go forth with her day of events with President Trump.
Sorry. So here's the card. Okay, so I'm going to put the camera over here. Put the card back in the camera when you're done.
And guys, thanks for watching. That was the Chancellor, like you saw earlier, arriving at the White House. I'm Molly Nevola. You're watching live here, hanging out on this Friday. That's pretty much going to do it for me in these next couple minutes. Bringing you this sort of midday live feed of interesting trending topics, breaking live news, of course, anything that we get fed in that's happening in this area or across the nation, of course. So yeah, once again, thanks again for joining, and please do come and join us every day. And you know our handle and our hashtag as well right there on your screen. Fox5DC and Fox5 Live is the hashtag. We're going to try to bring you more cool stuff every day next week as well. So have a great St. Patrick's Day, a happy, healthy, safe Friday night. And I'm going to roll out of here, guys, leaving you with, just like we did before, a cool shot of the White House. Have a great one, guys.